Hello and welcome, y'all. It is another month, another Creating with Sketches hop, and I am really ready to dive into this one. We are doing 2-page sketch number 3 today, and yeah, this one's going to be a good one. This one's going to be fun. So, welcome if you are a brand new best friend. I'm so glad that you found me. I love this little neck of my craftiness where I get to share my interpretations and takes on things. If you are returning, grab a drink, my friend. We're going to make a layout. But before I do, let me tell you who I am. I am Karen. I am the everything here on YouTube behind this channel. And I am also over on Facebook and Instagram. And I would love to have you as a subscriber and follower in all of those places. Not everything I do makes it to YouTube, so it's beneficial to be there. Also, if you hit the subscribe button, YouTube will do all of the heavy lifting and let you know when my new videos are out. So this hop is probably been one of my favorite this year. I have really enjoyed working my way through this Allison Davis book. You can get it at Scrapbook Generation. The links will be down below. Because this is a for purchase PDF, I won't be showing the sketch. I want to be very respectful and thankful to Scrapbook Generation that they allow for us to do this. So, this sketch is a 2-page sketch. I am not much of a 2-page scrapbooker. I do occasionally, but not always. So, I tend to find either the variations or I create my own. So one of the things that's fantastic about any of Allison Davis's sketches is not only does she give you the original sketch, but there are some different variations that she also puts out there for you. Get your creativeness flowing, so to speak. I am going to be modifying slightly, not slightly, I'm going to be modifying the left-hand side of this layout. It will be staying very similar to what's happening, but let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do. I am using Project Mouse papers. They are a digital collection. I print them in 8.5 by 11 because, you know, you got to do what you got to do, and that's the size of my printer. So these are, you know, I'm not 100% sure which collections these are from, but this is the pattern paper that we will be using, and some of it is more of a solid, but there is a texture to the solid. This one, I think they all do actually have a little bit of an undertone of maybe some tribal art. I'm not even really sure what to call it. And it's very subtle. And then I printed a wood grain. I printed this quadrifoil, which I love. I printed this diamond that has a little bit of yellow in it. And then this weave paper. So we're going to have those. Then what we're going to do for our background, this is one of the places where I am altering the sketch. We're going to have a 12 by 12 background and an 11.5 by 11.5 piece of this very pale light blue. I did not want to go with white paper. The only paper that I have in here, well, these patterns are the only places I find true white. And I thought that if I decided to map my photos in white, that would really kind of make them pop. So we are going to be creating a strip background. So I'm going to take each of these papers. There are 7 of them. At least I think there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 of them, and I am probably going to do them in this order. Well, I say that. I'm going to mix up the solids with the prints, but it will be brown, blues, brown, blues, brown to make my background. We're going to do strips. I'm going to grab a punch that I have from Stampin' Up that makes banners, the little fishtail banners at the bottom. So I have that. And then the photos. Working our way through Disney, folks. Sorry, it's a Disney summer. If you love Disney, yay. If you're not loving it, I am so sorry. But I have years of photos I have to get through. So one of my favorite things to do when I'm there is to take pictures of the theming. Like, what makes Disney so incredibly unique is the immersiveness of being there. So this is the Harambe area. This is Africa in the Animal Kingdom. It is backed by Kilimanjaro Safari. It's really, really, I mean, I can't begin to tell you, if you've never been there, how unique this is. I mean, right down to like the rain buckets on top of the building. Now, I don't know if they actually catch rain. However, I do know that in a lot of other countries, there are rain buckets just like this on the roof. Our really good friend lives in Mexico, and they have these as well. So to know that Disney goes so far as to create, I mean, like create things that you would actually see if you were there. It's just the immersiveness that is amazing to me. So we will be using these 3 photos of the Harambe area, Harambe Village area at the back of Animal Kingdom by Kilimanjaro Safari as our photos for this layout. Now, because I am pulling from the left-hand side, there is really not a journaling place. So I will be adding that. If you have the book and are playing along, I really am working off of the original sketch, just the left-hand side. And down where it has the title area, there's a small banner, and I'm thinking that that's going to become where my journaling happens in this layout. So we've got some photos we need to cut down. These are 3x5s. I'm really thinking I want them to end up being somewhere around 3 1/4 by 5 1/4, because I want a little bit of this white matte to help them pop off my papers. We need to cut our strips down. I think I'm going to go with 1 1/2 by 11. We'll see. We will see. I am not mathematically inclined. I'm not necessarily challenged either, but I'm not really a good one to come in and make a lot of changes. So, like subdividing 11 1/2 inches to get the right number. It just, no. Just no. It's not going to happen. So I think we're going to start at 1 1/2 and then figure out what happens from there. So I'm going to cut this mic off. Be back with you in just a second. All right. So I have pulled out some fishtail punches that I have to use on this layout. We're going to start out by cutting off 1/4 inch on 2 sides of the lighter blue paper. That's just going to give us a little teeny tiny border around our base paper. I love how this light blue looked against that darker brown. My next step is to trim off all of the excess white. I did notice while trimming this how absolutely crooked my trimmer is cutting. Y'all, oh my goodness. I had thought maybe it was cutting slightly crooked, but oh my goodness, this is horrible. So in the comments below, if you guys have a recommendation for a trimmer that cuts straight, please let me know, because I have about had it with trimmers. All right, back to the layout. Sorry for the rant. Here I have taken all of those papers that we talked about, and I have cut strips of them. My strips are 1 1/2 inches. That gives me that ability to get the really pretty banners going across the side. I did have kind of this moment of not being able to get the banner punch to work. It does help if you open your punches before you use them. All right, so I am the paper scraper edger queen. I love this little tool, and I love the look that it gives on layouts. Just that texture difference between the background and the layers. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm going to go through edge out all of these papers, including the little fishtail banner part. And then we're going to get into how I got these evenly spread out onto my page. I am going to use a centering ruler. This one is a very old one. I mean, I've probably had this forever. But what I love about a centering ruler is that you can find the absolute center point. So I found the center point of my background. I found the center point of the center piece of paper and lined those up. Then it was just laying out the rest of the papers and gluing them down, sticking them down. Next, I add my photos, decide where I want those to be, and start putting them in. I did realize later that I might have wanted to turn the photos slightly so I didn't have a gap, but you know, it kind of is what it is, and it didn't bother me in the end. So we're going to make a title. This is one of my favorite ways to incorporate my very large stamp collection into what I'm doing. This is a Carrie Bradford set called District Upper Outline Extra Large, and it's probably one that I use the most. So then it's just going to be cutting these out. I have been using the Tim Holtz new snips, the ones that came out a few months ago at the time of filming, and these have really kind of become my favorite fussy cutting scissors. Now, I don't use them for everything. I really only use them for fussy cutting, and in the center areas of like these A's, I've gone back to using a knife. It's just a little easier to get that out. On the R, I did cut up through the middle of the letter. Once you glue it down, you can't tell it's been cut. Around my little punched Mickey, I did use a black line just to have it mimic the look of those stamped letters. Then we're going to stick this down using my Simon Says Stamps 6-inch T-square ruler so that those get nice and even. Y'all, once I stuck this all the way down with glue that will not come off, mind you, I realized that I needed something to anchor that word. If I had been thinking before I stuck those letters down, I would have gotten this anchor into place. But, you know, it works. It's not horrible, but it could have been better. The next step is to add some black lines around it, glue down the ends of those letters so that they don't roll up. And now we're going to add in a little brown Mickey head to our title, just to give it a little emphasis. Here we are, finished. I really loved this idea from Allison Davis. Again, this is a modification of the left-hand side of the page. The modifications I made was rather than the strips all being together and over this way that left room for the right-hand page to bleed in, I took my strips, matted them on an 11.5 by 11.5 piece of cardstock, and then had my strips spread out across. The colors that I'm working with, I really did pull from the photos. There's a lot in this area that's kind of this teal color. And then, of course, a lot of browns because of the facades being stucco-ish looking, or stucco over brick kind of look. So there it is. It is finished. I will get some still shots for you so that you can see it up close. Down below are all of the links to everyone who's playing along this month. If you have not already purchased the PDF from Scrapbook Generation, I highly recommend you get it. I could scrapbook out of Creating with Sketches month after month after month and still not have scrapped every picture, and every layout would look somewhat different. That's the beauty of sketches. So I hope that you've been inspired. Make sure you check out everyone else's stuff below. If you haven't grabbed the PDF, this again is your sign. Go grab it. It is worth it. You can also go back through. I will be creating a playlist here that will have all of my videos in it from this hop so that you can see the year's worth of videos. So, my friends, until we're together again in the next video, go make some memories. Bye-bye.